My name is Natalia Voss. I am 27 years old and I live in a small, bustling town. I am a quiet person, an introvert who enjoys reading and painting when I can find the time. I work as a graphic designer, pouring my creativity into various projects, but my real passion lies in capturing moments on canvas. I also have a younger sister named Jessica, who is a whirlwind of energy and charm. She could charm the birds off the trees, but that same charm often comes with a side of trouble, particularly towards me. Our relationship has always been a push and pull between affection and annoyance, and I often find myself stuck in her shadow. Everything turned upside down when I discovered that Jessica had been living a double life that directly affected me. One day, I was sitting at my desk, sipping on a cup of coffee while working on a project. I decided to check my credit report just to make sure everything was in order. As I scrolled through the pages, I stumbled upon charges that I knew I had never made. It soon became clear that my identity had been stolen, and it was none other than Jessica who had taken advantage of me. She had opened credit cards in my name, gone on shopping sprees, and accumulated a mountain of debt. I felt a roller coaster of emotions: betrayal, anger, confusion, and betrayal again. The sisterly bond we had seemed to vanish into thin air. I needed to confront this situation, and I wanted to show her the extent of the chaos she had created. In the beginning, I tried to handle things calmly. I called Jessica to discuss what I had discovered, but instead of honesty, I was met with denial. She claimed it was a misunderstanding, a mistake on the credit bureau's part. I knew that was not true. I could see the evidence laid out in front of me. My blood boiled as I realized how casually she brushed off the enormous problem she had created. From that moment, I was determined to set her straight. I decided to gather all the evidence I could find and plan to confront her again, but I had to tread carefully. But my attempts to solve the problem only made it worse. I started to gather all the documentation about her fraudulent charges, my credit history, and even went to the police to report the identity theft. They said it could take weeks to resolve, and every day felt like too long to wait. The authorities suggested that the fastest resolution would be to take legal action, but knowing my sister, I hesitated. I did not want to tear our family apart. After assembling all the paperwork, I called Jessica one last time, hoping this would clear things up. Maybe, just maybe, she would come to her senses. When I confronted her again, she became defensive. She insisted that I was overreacting and that I was the one destroying our relationship. She claimed I was jealous of her carefree life, which made me feel even worse. How could she twist it like that? Our arguments escalated, and each time led to new levels of chaos. I felt like I was fighting against a brick wall. Everything I had done to fix the situation only pushed her further away. Days turned into weeks, and my frustration turned into desperation. I believed I was powerless, and just like that, the wall my sister built around herself became impenetrable. As my despair grew, I knew I had to make one last attempt to solve this problem. With a heavy heart, I decided to play Jessica's game. If she thought this was a simple matter of shifting blame, then I would effectively show her that there are consequences to stealing from your sister. I crafted a plan that involved turning the tables on her, but it was going to take courage and cunning. I called my sister and invited her out to dinner, feigning a desire to mend our relationship since we had not spoken in weeks. She readily accepted, and that was my first victory. She had no idea that I was now playing for keeps. The night of our dinner arrived, and I chose a cozy little restaurant we used to visit as kids. As we sat across from each other, I managed to strike up lighthearted conversation, keeping my true intentions under wraps. After ordering our meals, I casually brought up the topic of finances. She rolled her eyes and immediately downplayed my concerns about my credit report. I hitched my breath, holding on to my resolve. Then, when she least expected it, I revealed everything I had been doing behind the scenes. I told her about all the research I conducted, about learning more on identity theft laws and how I had approached the police. Her face went pale as she started to realize the trouble she was in. I laid my plan on the table for her. If she did not agree to make things right, I would take her to court and expose her. The threat hung in the air like a gray cloud, and as her eyes widened, I knew I was reaching her. It was a climactic moment. Jessica could not believe I would go this far, and I could see the fear in her eyes. Instead of it breaking through her bravado, she lashed out, insisting that she was innocent and that everyone would believe her story over mine. Yet instead of backing down, I stood my ground. Hours passed as we debated back and forth. At this moment, the true depth of our sisterhood was tested, and I felt a wave of determination wash over me. The future of our relationship depended on this confrontation. At long last, Jessica realized I meant business. She reluctantly agreed to work with me to contact the creditors and clear my name. The weight on my shoulders lifted a little as I watched her finally take accountability. Though it felt exhilarating to have her on my side, a part of me wondered if this was a fleeting victory or if she had simply grown tired of fighting. The petitions I drafted to report her identity theft made her realize I was serious. Her chilly demeanor thawed as we strategized together, ensuring I would be vindicated, but that night changed more than just our financial future. Months passed after that fateful dinner, and life started to shift in unexpected ways. My credit score began to recover, but even more surprisingly, Jessica and I rebuilt our relationship on better terms. It was no longer one based on rivalry or competition, but camaraderie. We were sisters first, and though the scars of betrayal lingered, they helped forge a new path forward, full of hope and understanding. I learned that in facing challenges head on, we can find paths for healing even in broken relationships. In the end, I had not just reclaimed my credit score, I had regained my sister in a way I never expected. Jessica learned a lesson in accountability, and I discovered my own strength. Every battle reshaped us, leaving us resilient. We still joked about our clever dinner that had transformed everything, making our bonds stronger than ever. Little did I know that what began with betrayal would lead to a deeper, richer relationship than before, and I walked away thankful for the way things turned out, realizing sometimes the hardest battles lead to the most rewarding victories.